pledge allegiance to the
to the
flag
flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to our meeting. Our special business will have recognition of outgoing school committee members by Representative John Edwards. Please. Senator Felag and Senator DePalma, thank you.
Wow, you get all three of them.
That's nice, huh? Very nice.
It's going to be very calm around the tiger.
I hope so.
As a senior member of delegation, we've elected him to do our bidding. Senior as in just the older guy.
The Chairman Carroll would say thank you very much for your contribution to the town of Tiverton. I've always stated that the most valuable resource a community can have is its residents, especially those residents who put their name on the ballot and volunteer their time and expertise for the community. And both of you have done that adequately, and more than adequately, and done an outstanding job for the town of Tiverton. And I'm sure the school committee members are going to miss you not being back and being present here at the table to work with us young students. But we feel you've been a great asset, and we thank you for your time and wish you well in your future endeavors.
Thank you. Thank you, Carol. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, right.
Excuse me. And now I'd like to introduce the town clerk, Nancy Mello.
Could I have Jerry Larkin, Sally Black, Elaine Pavo, and Diane Fonworth come up so that you can take the official oath? Okay, you're going to raise your right hand and then repeat after me and then fill in your own names, obviously. I will support, enforce, and abide by the Constitution and laws of the United States and of the state of Rhode Island, that I will in all respects observe the provisions of the Charter and ordinances of the town of Tiverton, and will faithfully discharge the duties as a member of the school committee for the town of Tiverton. So help me God. I do solemnly swear. Congratulations.
I don't care where anyone else sits, but I sit here.
Still sitting there? Okay, that's a girl. That's just fine,
This is my spot. I have to see people. I do. I like this corner.
Where do you want?
Just sit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whoever's gonna move where Sally is, would you move that?
Okay, yeah, yeah. So I used to sit there, but then I got bumped over here. It's a long story.
Mrs. Mello, aren't you going to do this?
I'm gonna do we have to lift the chair. Oh, my
Yes.
goodness. Sorry. That I do this. Okay. Okay, we're going to conduct the election of a president. Do I have any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Mrs. Black for chairman.
I second that.
I need a second on the nomination, but that's okay. Do I have any other nominations? Do I have any other nominations? No other nominations. We will close the presidents with Sally Black being nominated. Can I have a vote in favor? Mrs. Black, you are now the president of the school committee. Congratulations. Yay.
Okay, now I have to have a nomination for vice chair, and I would, go ahead.
Nominate Jerry.
And I'll second that. Okay, do I have any other nominations? No? Okay, can I have a vote, please? All those in favor? Yay!
Mrs. Black, thank you.
Okay, now we'll have the boards and committees, sick bank. I need 2 for the sick bank.
And just for the new members, sick bank is,
So I'm actually currently on that subcommittee, and I can explain it a little bit. So there is a bank of days which the employees of the district have contributed to that can be drawn upon by one of the other employees should they have sort of a medical issue that requires them to take more time than they have earned on their own. And the subcommittee is composed of 2 school committee members and I believe two teachers, or I think one was a nurse actually. And when a request is made, which has actually only happened I think twice in the last 4 years, that committee reviews the request and approves or I guess disapproves the request. So it's not a lot of time thus far. So that's what it is, and I'm happy to continue serving on that.
And Mrs. Pavo? Oh, good.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we have Dr. Larkin and Mrs. Pavo, so do I have a motion?
make a motion to appoint Elaine, Dr. Larkin and Elaine.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All those in favor? Okay. The next one is vocational education, which is really tech ed now. And if anyone doesn't want to do that, I've been doing that, downstairs.
I'll nominate
Does anyone-
Mrs. Black.
Oh. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in
Vote.
favor? Okay. Now we have policy, which is very good. Deb's already on there, right?
I'll continue to.
Would you like to
I'd
be
like
on
to
policy?
volunteer.
That would be good. Okay. So do I have a motion for
So moved.
Second.
all those in favor? And who wants to be on legislative to watch Jay and all those guys that just showed up? Anyone want to do that? You want to do that,
So
Diane?
that is just watching the legislation.
Yeah,
that's coming forward, or if we have anything.
You know how Mike Burke used to do, Yanni used to do it?
I'll be happy.
Yeah, that would be good, because you do follow that. That's great. So I have a motion from Mrs. Polish for that.
Mrs. Polish.
A second.
Second.
All those in favor? Liaison to the town council, I'd like to volunteer because I'd like to stay out till midnight. If anybody would nominate
Maybe
me.
it'll be 11.
Yeah, it might be.
I'll nominate Mrs. Black.
Second.
All those in favor? Appointment of clerk, Mr. Rarick.
Currently, we do not have anyone for the position. I asked the committee for permission to bid the appointment of a clerk, to see if anyone's interested. We need the school committee to approve my going forward to advertise for this position.
Okay. Do I have a motion for that?
Yeah, so moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Good. Appointment of school committee attorney.
I'll make a motion that we reappoint Attorney Robinson.
Do I have a second?
A second.
All those in favor? Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, okay.
I don't know that it helps.
Because that's not on, maybe it helps a little. I don't think it helps a lot, but
Talk loud.
How do we turn it on?
it knows how to do it. I don't even know if it helps, but I do think it helps.
It might
So-
help a little. Just
So you
talk-
want to make
talk
that motion
closer to
again,
it.
please, from
I'll make a motion that we appoint Attorney Robinson.
Mr.
And I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay. Now, regular session, approval of minutes,
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
and that would only be the three of us because we were here, right? The other two can't. Okay, so the three of us. Do I have a second, Jerry?
Second.
All those in favor? Okay. Mr. Eric? I know you're trying to write and talk at the same time with your minutes.
I think they're having the most difficulty hearing you.
That's usually not the case.
I was gonna say that, but I decided to not say that.
For personnel actions, resignations, retirements, leaves of absence, varsity boys tennis team, John Pelletier, resignation of school board clerk, Elaine Pavo, resignation of superintendent secretary, Elaine Pavo, appointments, sophomore class advisor, Jim Gouch, middle school math teacher, Luann Massey, and girls varsity basketball coach, Jeanette Lopes.
And I'd like to thank John Pelletier for all the work he did in the schools, coaching and teaching, and he was a wonderful asset. He was always at everything, helped out with everything after school, and it's a big loss. So thank you for John. Okay, any correspondence, Mr. Eric?
No, there are none.
Okay. Now, did we want to move that item up, Mr. Eric, on the homeschooling?
I would recommend the committee move item 5G out of order and take that first.
I'll make a motion to move up 5G.
Second?
All those in favor? So that's the homeschooling request. Okay, Mr. Eric?
Yes, that's correct.
So we moved it up.
Yes, you have a request, have you voted?
All those in favor?
Actually,
Okay.
there is one item under correspondence.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I frustration for our OPEB fund in the correspondence. I had nothing to report as for informational purposes. If they show our year-to-date contributions, with maybe continue to put quarterly reports in here. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. And I brought a copy of the latest results from the election that were just certified this morning at the Board of Canvassers, so I gave one to everyone so you'd have it. Okay, Mr. Eric, you want to do the homeschooling now?
Yes, you have a request from Mrs. Erin Cook-Dumas to speak to you regarding the Rogers Career Tech School for home-educated students. Is she not here?
No. What is this again, Nancy?
We are requesting that my son be allowed to go to Rogers for one class and not be enrolled full-time. So we homeschool, and we don't feel that he needs to be there all day long. We homeschool for educational and religious reasons, and we do not wish him to be at school. And I have I was just told that he could only go if he went all day, otherwise I would have to pay $7,000 a year for him to take one class at Rogers. I think that's unfair since I already pay my taxes like everybody else. And I do all the driving, I take him to and from the school. It doesn't cause any friction for anyone. Newport is allowed it, all the other schools in the area allow their homeschoolers to go in for one class, and Tiverton is the only one that's denied that. I have two different policies. I have the regulations of the Board of Regents for career and technical education. I also have two handouts. Can I?
Sure.
I'm sorry, I didn't have a lot to read.
Okay, thank you.
Here, you guys can share this one. Sally.
main goal of these regulations is to support the career and technical education of all the students in the state of Rhode Island. And what they're asking, even recently, because my daughter was on television with the governor for welding, that all the technical trades are being supported and new money from the state is being implemented for new programs. The automotive program was brand new this year, completely updated. So they must need new mechanics for all the new cars. They're all electrical. It's not the old kind. It's all the new material. And my son wishes to learn that skill. I don't have that material in my house, so he would need to go to school for that. The main portion of this is Section 5. All students in grades K through 12 shall have the right to access career awareness and exploration activities as described in Sections 2.1, which is also in the paper I handed out. No student shall be denied access to career and technical education on the basis of color, gender, sexual orientation, race, religion, national origin, or disability. There are only 3 reasons that the board has said that children should not be denied. 3 of them is availability of enrollment seats. My son was given a seat. There was no issue with that. Geographic location. Tiverton does qualify to go to that school. Fair, equitable, and reasonable admission standards. My son falls under those admission standards. He passed everything that needed to be done. Such enrollment criteria shall not unfairly target students on the basis of color, gender, sexual orientation, race, religion, national origin, disability, or district of residence. And I also believe that home education is very big now, and I also think that should be added to policies because we get discriminated against. I home educated my students, my own children, and in the form that I put there, and I know that there will be some people that will say, that's my choice to educate them. And it is. But I will also say back that I also benefit the town. I myself have saved the town so far $420,000. In 1 year, year 2014-2015, there were 40 home educated students at Tiverton. I averaged all the numbers at $10,000, just there's plus and minuses on my side and your side, just so 10,000 is easy to work with. In 1 year, home educated students saved the town $400,000. They are students that need to be educated. So whether I pay for it myself or the town of Tiverton pays for it, they still have to be educated. Those are students that you don't pay for. I pay for their books, I pay for tutors, I pay for music teachers, and yes, they can come here, but it's difficult because you have a schedule and I have a schedule, and they don't always mesh. So it's not that one's better than the other, they just don't always fit with each other. I still have 3 children at home to be educated that I still pay for myself. So that also saves the taxpayers money. The state also pays for the busing of private school students. They also pay extra money for low-income students. And I just feel that it's very unfair that the home educated student can't take 1 class at a school that I already pay my taxes for. And we do not make extra trouble for the school. I don't see that there'll be large masses of homeschoolers coming in and asking for these programs if it's allowed. Because if you want to only go part-time, you can't use the busing system because the bus is set for a certain time each day. So the parent would have to do their driving themselves. So I'm not really understanding the no. I just think it's a policy that maybe hasn't been brought to the light and maybe needs to be updated. So I'm asking that the town will update their policy and allow home educated students to go to Rogers on a part-time basis.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions?
The last time you came before us, remember, we updated our policy to include them in the school for the classes, which was good. I really think that's a good idea. So,
So
Yeah.
right now, homeschooled students can enroll in one core and one non-core, or two non-core classes in addition to all of our student organizations and clubs.
That's correct, and just to provide some context, I have spoken with Attorney Robinson over this question. He advised me that the only way Mrs. Cook, Dumas' son, could attend would be to a change in the policy. His interpretation of all the statutes, he reviewed them, and that he came to that conclusion. So if the committee so chooses, in order to allow this to happen, you would need to change the policy.
Right, because right now the policy says enroll in a limited number of classes at the middle
But-
school
and
and
the
the
high
high
school.
school.
But it's important
Yeah.
for everyone to know, even if you're not a homeschooled student and you want to go to the Career Center or to the med school, the district pays a tuition cost. That you have to pay that in order for a child to go there. That's, the cost is set by the state. It's a set formula. We've worked very closely with Newport in trying to get the tuitions to a reasonable cost, but it's still, for a part-time student, which is 3 classes or less, it's about $7,000. A full-time student costs $15,000.
Versus when they participate here, there's no extra cost.
There's no additional cost. So we have our per pupil cost, that accounts for tuitions going to Newport.
Right.
To the med school. So that's all part of our per pupil. But
If we have a homeschool taking student taking English and one other tech program here, we don't add teachers, we
we're
don't
not
add.
adding to, we already have them here, that's
Okay.
correct.
Yeah, but you don't offer automotive here. Otherwise, it'd be much easier on my life.
No, it's true, I know,
Automotive is here.
yeah.
And if you don't mind if I add something. Policy 1230, we believe that each student is endowed with his or own individual capabilities and characteristics, that our school, to the best of our ability, should provide each student with the kind of education best fitted to him or her as an individual. We know that the needs of students are similar but not identical, and we try to adapt our program to this knowledge. And your other policy, 1260, recognizing that from time to time it is educationally advantageous for a student to be removed from the home district for a specific period, the following policy is adopted. The superintendent is authorized to make an arrangement with neighboring school districts where a limited number of pupils residing in one district may be enrolled in another district without payment of tuition. And this does not say full or partial students.
And that policy.
Well, without payment, though, that's
Well,
a
that policy
reciprocal.
is it's a reciprocity.
Yeah.
Policy that we've had with our neighboring districts. If we had a student, or in our neighboring districts they had a student where there was an issue where they could no longer attend, or the environment wasn't positive for the student, they would ask to come here, or we would ask someone to go there. That's what that policy is referencing, is our reciprocity policy.
But even if you only pay for the occasional home student to go to Rogers, I do not envision large masses of homeschoolers coming, because there's a general philosophy, we home educate for a reason, and most of them are for religious reasons. But my son is very mechanical, and he wants to learn the auto mechanics, and he's at the top of his class, and he's doing very well. It's a small amount to pay for an occasional student to take a class, since we just really don't financially impact the school. We really do save the taxpayers a lot of money.
But you could say the same of anybody that goes to private school. So should private kids get to come and ask for us to pay to have them go to Rogers too?
Well,
I'm
my
just,
son
and
went
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
you can make the same argument about anybody that chooses to either go to a St. Phil's or a Wheeler, or they're making a choice to go outside of the public school district. It is a choice, and one of the reasons I know when we changed the policy is we thought it was important, because we do feel like our homeschool students are part of the community, but we have to be very cognizant of this, in that there is an additional cost now to our taxpayers to pay. And I know you think, well, it's just me, but it does set a precedent, and we really, we should think about it.
It does set a precedent, but I have been homeschooling for 15 years now. I'm considered one of the elders, if you lack of a better word. Is a philosophy most homeschoolers are not going to come, so this is not just for my benefit. And people can say, yes, I did send my other child to a private school. It cost me $9,000, so I also have a difficult time understanding why I sent my son to a private school all day, and I'm going to send him to my other son to a public school that I already paid for one class for $7,000. That does not make sense either. So,
The $7,000 isn't for your son to come here, though.
No, I
The
understand
$7,000
that.
is to go to the Career Center, which students are allowed to go to if they're enrolled in Tiverton High School.
but if they go
So this-
full-time, it's $15,000.
That's correct.
But it's so, if
we
I
pay
ask
either.
for
We
one
pay-
class, I'm not trying to be rude, but if I ask for one class, it costs $7,000. But if I send them all day, you'd rather pay $15,000.
We are very, we pay that because the state, those statutes that you reference regarding the career ed provisions are for students in public schools who attend a public school. They're not for homeschool students.
But you will get state funding back for him to go to school.
We don't
To go to
get,
the Rogers
we don't
class.
get funding, we would, then he would be enrolled, yes, we would get money.
Yes.
Because we would have to enroll him.
But no, enrolled here, right?
He'd have to enroll, he'd have to be a student here, and then go there and then come back for classes here. That's the only way we see money. We don't see money for homeschool students.
Because they're not counted
They're
in
not
our
counted- They're
FTEs.
not in our FTE, our full-time equivalencies.
But Portsmouth and Middletown, they allow
But
them.
I've read their policies, my interpretation is they don't.
Don't
There are
They don't,
students there.
and even if they don't allow this situation,
Yeah.
regardless, our attorney, regardless of what other districts allow, it's your, as the committee, to decide to change the policy, to consider changing it or not.
Well, so if I can break in here, we're mixing and mashing a lot of different
Yeah,
things here
we are.
that are,
That's
some of
true.
which may be relevant. I think a lot are probably not, actually. You know, it's not a clear linear relationship between the per pupil cost and the impact of having a student be homeschooled on the, final budget and the taxes of the town. So what really we need to do, and what I think you're actually asking us to do, is to create policy where, in my view, none exists right now. So there's really just policy for children who are homeschooled to be allowed to come to the high school or the middle school. There is no policy whatsoever, it seems,
That's
unless
correct.
I'm
No, that's
mistaken,
correct.
that governs the situation you're talking about. And I'm certainly willing to take that up. But I think in taking that up, especially because it does have a cost associated with it, we have to be very deliberate and understand what the implications of that are. Whether it be, maybe one student in 10 years, or it may be 10 students a month, that obviously has very different implications. So, I think it's something ultimately that we have to decide to refer to the policy subcommittee, who can then examine the various aspects of this and try and decide what's best, not just for the town, but for the students, for the children that are affected by this.
And then maybe that, in doing that, the committee can actually look at the other
The other schools,
policies
yeah.
at the other
See
schools.
See what they say in the Middletown and Portsmouth and
Yep.
everything, yeah.
Because I'm the same way. I think that we're just,
And
we're introducing something new, and we just need to be
Right, so my
deliberate.
recollection of this policy, one of the previous policy that we adopted, which was to allow homeschooled students to attend, different aspects of the curriculum or after-school activities
Could I
at the
ask,
middle
do you
school and high
know-
school.
do you-
Just let me sort of finish the thought, because I think it's an important one. Is that it was cost neutral. So it's very clearly stated in the policy that it's, if there is space, if we can accommodate that, then by all means, we should accommodate that for everyone's benefit. If it, I think, meant opening up a whole other classroom or hiring another teacher, obviously that's not cost neutral, and that would be a different set of considerations that, again, are not necessarily outside the discussion. But again, that's not what we adopted. We adopted basically a cost neutral policy, so we have to really kind of think it through. Sorry, you were going to say something.
But we could look at it. We could refer it to the policy committee like we did last time, because I understand how you feel and that you want your son to have that, and we don't have it. You know, we try to keep everything we can. Yeah.
For something that my taxes already paid for. That just seems, and I know, maybe from your point of view, you don't get that, but we homeschoolers do save the taxpayers a lot of money.
I understand what you're saying, and I understand why your conclusions are that way. I think there's a lot of different ways of looking at that sort of, you know, again, it's not necessarily a linear relationship, that if someone decides to homeschool, that the budget is suddenly $14,000 in the black. It's not. It doesn't quite work that precisely.
Well, and I think the flip side of that, too, is someone like myself who no longer has children in the schools, I happily, you know, or someone who never did, you know, it's sort of a bargain that we pay to have an educated.
All of our education is a community
Exactly.
effort. It's-
It is what it is, but the fact of the matter is that I still have 5 living children, so it costs. It's not, I don't have children, or they're older, or whatever. They are.
Yeah.
So they still have to be educated and still cost.
And I understand that you're, you know, from your point of view, I perfectly appreciate, you know, what you're saying, but when you draw it down to your particulars, we still have to create a policy that's applicable and just to everyone.
Well, I mean, if it was offered here, then I would have them go here. But
That's-
then all the
Right.
state funding goes over there, if I'm correct, because that's where they put all
Yeah.
the money to buy all the equipment.
State funding is Byzantine and opaque, so.
Yes, it is.
I think,
State funding for
I think we
career-
just can't draw the conclusions that I think you'd like to
Just,
draw.
Again,
Mr.
context,
Vera?
state funding for career centers is separate
Right.
from our tuition. That's part of Newport's overall budget.
Right.
The tuitions from the sending districts, but they receive different revenue streams from the state for the career centers. And it is an initiative for Governor Raimondo. And there's been a lot of publicity and expansion of PTAC and all those other programs. That is correct, but it's a separate funding stream.
Where are those
Ms.
legislators?
Nicholas?
They could probably.
Yeah,
Yes.
they left, the legislators.
Yes?
Make her come up.
Can you come up so we can hear you, please? Can you come up, please, so we can hear you? Thank you. You're going to be loud?
Well,
Okay.
it won't, Ms.
recording.
Nichols, it won't record, so.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I was just I just wanted to offer some information about maybe a possibility for Erin and her son, that we have, and I think homeschool students are eligible for this. We have the Advanced Course Network, that there's a couple of area high schools and colleges offer courses for free, and New England Tech being one of them. And I think the registration is just open for the spring semester, so I don't know why a homeschool student wouldn't be able to take advantage of something like that, and the tuition is paid, it's free?
Home-educated students are denied free access to college, even though everyone else are allowed to go.
But those courses that are offered through the Advanced Network, have you
That's
looked
how
into that?
works. I have to pay.
I'm not
My
sure what the
neighbor
policy
does.
is for homeschool, so, is she?
No,
Okay.
I am right.
Okay.
It-
I wasn't aware of that, I just
Yeah.
threw that out there because I didn't know whether.
We are discriminated against often, and it's a little tiring because I pay a lot of money, and I would like to have some benefit from it. One class, that's all we're asking for.
Okay. So we will.
Thanks.
Thank you, Lynn.
Hey,
you.
well, yeah, Annie.
So I'd like to make a motion that we refer this to the policy committee.
We have our first meeting.
Yeah.
Consider,
Yep.
you know, out of, I don't know what the right phraseology is. but
Yeah, I
out of
guess it would be
district,
homeschooled out of district,
Out
yeah.
of district placement for homeschool children.
And we'll look at the other districts and see
Yep.
what they do.
Yep.
That would be
I'll see
good.
if we can see, like, even outside of East Bay,
Good.
we'll see if there's
Yeah.
anything.
Okay, that'll be great.
Second.
Thank you. Second? Do I have a second? All those in favor? Thank you for coming, and we'll look right into that. We'll do it right away. Thank you so much.
It's okay.
Okay, so now we'll have discussion update of communication plan.
Yes,
Mr. Barrett?
Very quickly, I would like to introduce to the committee our communications lead, Julie Delcourt. Julie, there she is. I'd like to,
Welcome, Julie.
because you appointed her at a meeting or two ago, the previous committee, and the communications lead position was something that was, came out of our communications subcommittee, and we thought it was important to have somebody responsible for improving our level of communications, and Julie is the person we brought on, and she just wants to briefly go over with you our Facebook page and our Twitter feeds.
So good evening. My name again is Julie Delcourt. I want to thank you so much, but I want to fully warn you, Bill told me I have 2 minutes and I can't even say my name in 2 minutes, so bear with me.
You can
Hence
have
the title,
3.
Lead Communication Manager. Okay, so I've had truly the time of my life in this very short period of time, because this is truly a mission that is so near and dear to my heart. We've talked often about the mission, and to kind of give you a quick background, I actually come to you from the Department of Defense with 16 years with them as a contractor, loving every minute of it, but man, is it much easier to work in a school system than in a combat zone. So I say that because we're a world of acronyms. We certainly love our acronyms in the military, and I applied that logic on an excellent idea by our assistant superintendent, Amy, who arranged for me to have a listening tour throughout these schools, all our 5 schools. So in my listening tour, I honestly thought I knew everything. I have 3 children, and 2 of them are in schools now. In 2018, all 3 will be in. I'm very excited about that. And because of that, I really had a distinct idea that I knew what was going on in 02878. I was wrong. Completely wrong. So that said, we wanted to look at this from the lenses that I look at. Well, I consider them bifocals, because I have the hat that I now wear with the school district, and then also as a mom in the school. So with that said, I wanted to kind of brand, I don't use the word rebrand, because I don't think there was a brand there before, to brand our schools. And we did this together, and I love the way we did it. Our tiger eyes, and then our 5 awesome schools underneath. And you'll see this banner throughout. So you'll see that on the Facebook page, you'll see that on the Twitter feed, and hopefully you'll see that.
Sally, we hope you like the tiger.
I do, I like it.
So, yes. And so it's exciting, because now we kind of have that continuity. We have that way of looking at things, and that identifiable icon, if you will. So Lord knows Sally's been pushing that tiger icon for I don't know how long. So bear with me a moment. I'm just going to advance the slide. And okay. So in this walking tour, or this listening tour, an operative word there being listening, I was able to really understand so much more than I ever thought I knew as a mom. And I think that's and excuse the negative word, but that's the disease that Tiverton has. We don't have that vessel until now that gets to these parents. My generation wants to be fed. That's why Twitter calls it a news feed. That's why Facebook calls it your news feed. Because we don't want to search for our news. I'm so excited when my kids' socks match, let alone trying to sit at home and watch the news and kind of hope to get all that information and store it. Time is of the essence now in the average family. So because of that, now that we're in their news feed, we have that ability to actually be present when they're looking at things. It's so exciting. So I come to you with an acronym where I call it being able to have those moments where you say, thank God I live here, okay? These TGAL moments are so exciting, and one in particular that just stood out, and I literally lost count in these 5 tours that I took, was in the high school, and the principal was telling me about the nautical engineering program. I didn't even know we made boats. And not only do we make boats, but an alumni of Tiverton High School has brought his back after 10 years of this boat being in function, and asked for it to be repaired. So I think that's profound. But you don't hear about that. And my father used to say, in the absence of information, the pessimists fill in the blanks.
It's true.
So now we're going to end that. And that's my mission. I'm going to make sure that these parents not only know what's going on in our schools, but more importantly, they're proud as peacocks. So our goals, or my goals, are number one, to reach 1,000 likes. We are actually at about 376 right now, and we are just over 24 hours live. So I'm pretty proud of that. So by Christmas break, I want to be at 1,000. The vessel for that is our principals and our faculty members. Parents are going to join Facebook or know about Facebook. I do have it set up now so that Facebook, actually, the second you use your record on file with Facebook that you're a 02878 resident, that it does become a suggested post. And then also, if you enter 02878 and your location device is on, it does become a suggested post. But again, that primary vessel is our principals and our teachers, letting our families know that we're there, and our stakeholders too. I want to do 3 posts a day because on average, the average parent does look at their Facebook page 1 time a day, whether it be morning, noon, or night, and we'll get to that in a second. And then I will show you, if you look, and this is actually a post that I did this morning, the video that we did, which was known as the mannequin challenge. It's a trending item, so we need to kind of, slip the ice cream, or slip the vegetables in with the ice cream, as they say, and make sure that the posts and the content of our Facebook and our Twitter matter to our parents because we want them to come back. So there is the educational piece, but there's also the fact that we need them to see their kids in action, and they did, and they loved it. So this says it's 1.9 views. We've actually had over 2,000 views in just over 24 hours. That's really exciting for tiny little Tiverton. And then we also have countless amounts of likes and shares. So that got shared with Nana, and that got shared with Aunt Beth, and it's so exciting to know that. And then also, my last mission is to train these teachers who are so humble to get me involved. It's a shift in culture for them because they've never had to brag about themselves before. And now they need to keep me in mind when they're doing these spectacular things because spectacular is their norm. They are doing such outstanding things that it's rather different for them to think about getting me there beforehand so that I can document it with an HD camera and an HD video camera to make sure that our pictures are of high quality and fun to look at. So I'm going to switch to the Facebook page real quick to just show you what we got going on. And it's extremely exciting because you have parents already that are I love this story. I was speaking with Mrs. Riley at Pecasset School, and we do have children that have a no media clause, so they don't want to be seen in the media. Yet their parents called and said, why wasn't my child in that mannequin challenge? And it was kind of exciting because we said, because you told us they can't. So it's really, really exciting for that. So without further ado, we'll pull up the Facebook page. And you'll see real quick that we're able to have such a profound impact so quickly. For example, today at Pecasset, they had a Tiverton alumni who just graduated from Parris Island for the United States Marine Corps, and he was able to come back and thank Mrs. Simmons' class for giving him care packages, very limited care packages, and that was just so exciting. So if you can scroll up, and as you can see, the 13 and the 1 that you see up there, that's just indicative of literally from the moment, oh look, there you are. Scroll back.
Oh no. We're already there?
There you are.
Look at that.
That's fake.
So it's so important to get parents to understand, and whether it's right or wrong that we want to be spoon-fed our information, we'll leave that for the psychiatrists. The bottom line is that's how we like it. And it's so comforting to know that I see this information, and more importantly, now I understand that I have one heck of an acronym, and I have one heck of a thank God I lived there moment, because that is what we want our parents to have. That's the most important part that I think is missing, which is the buy-in of our parents for them to see exactly how awesome this school is. And believe me, I have front row seats now. It is outstanding, and I'm honored and proud to be a part of it. So without further ado, I thank you so much for your support. I thank you so much for the vision to see that the communication plan is needed and is working. And I look forward to seeing every single one of you. And if there's any good news that you have, please pass forward to me, because I long to put that out there and get these parents educated on the amazing things that are happening inside and outside of our classrooms. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just some background, we've had a number of meetings with Julie, Amy, and I, and we introduced Julie to our principals. We have protocols in place for all the information, everything that goes on in the schools. Now we'll go to the principals, we'll review it, and then forward it to Julie to get out to Facebook and to Twitter, and then eventually other social media platforms. And that took us longer. While it sounds simple, when we're talking about it in our subcommittees, it took us a little longer to get all the kinks worked out. We still have, some others. We're still working on getting everybody, because we know there's so many, because we didn't have this function before. Some people still have their own websites. We're working with the athletic department to, bring them in, because under policy 1075, all official communications have to, be funneled through us. So we're working on all that, and we're really excited. As you can tell, I always have Julie in the afternoon, so when things are a little slow, you get a little down, you don't need coffee.
No, I was gonna say, I
Just
wonder what
have
you're
Julie
like at
around
7 in the morning.
It wakes you up in the morning. Do you have you want to do the website real quick?
Sure. Mr. Smith, if you don't mind, just, I think one of the tabs open there was our,
We also have,
webpage.
we are about ready to go live with the new Facebook, the new webpage, because we're doing both at the same time. We're going to show you what it will look like. It's not there quite yet. It's not our strategic plan, obviously, but we have it. I'm sure Rich will find it in a second, and you'll be able to see what we've done on it.
So I have a quick question while they're looking for that. Is the protocol written down, or is it how, because let's say, I don't know, the music department, let's say, Mr. Schneisek and the people from the middle school want to have a music Facebook page, or, like department people, do they go through, can they go to Julie?
What we didn't show you there is that on the Facebook page, there's a Facebook for every school.
Oh, okay. So that could be there.
For albums, for pictures,
Yep,
whatever.
yep.
Much like the website. Julie set it up the same way. So, yeah, if they had, for example, an upcoming concert, or after the concert, we'd have a place where the photos would be, showing. And eventually, I know Julie and I and Amy have talked about having YouTube videos of different events, brief, short videos. And I know Diane, when we were on the subcommittee, we talked about that. So we're getting real close to that. Here is what it will look like.
Oh, I
If
love
you can
that.
just leave the main page up, that'd be great. We're just gonna let the pictures scroll.
Can you just bring it down just a tad, scroll it down just a little, Rich? That's fine, thanks. And these pictures will scroll through on our main website. And these are all pictures of, you should go, if you don't know where they are, they're different parts of Tiverton.
I was going to say.
They're all Tiverton. And then we're back to the schoolhouse. Can we go back up to the top, Rich? And then if you go to menu, oh, this may not be live yet, I apologize.
Okay,
You'll
but this is what's
But
gonna-
that's the color scheme. Just go back, Rich, if you could, to the bigger picture. Yeah, thanks. It will be that color scheme. It will look like that, and then we'll have right underneath the pictures, what you don't see here, will be pictures of each of the schools that they should be there, right, the pictures? Right there.
Oh, okay.
You'll have all 5 schools, and you'll click, your child's at Fort Barton, boom. All the information about Fort Barton.
Okay.
You can go to high school, likewise. So everything will be, it's user-friendly, it's easy, it's point and click, like we said we wanted to make it. So again, when we talked about, we'll be up and running in a month or two, and Jim said, well, it's gonna take you a little longer than that.
He was
It
right.
did. He
Jim
was
knew.
Spot on. But we're pretty close, because Amy's taken this over, when will we go?
Right, the only holdup right now is just unifying the brand. So Julie spoke about getting those tiger eyes at the top of this page, and we want to sync up the fonts so that it's uniform across all the platforms. So that is the last decision that was just made last week, and we're waiting for that. But it should be very quick, within a week and a half.
So, one of the concerns that I've had since the beginning of the school year is the inability to look up teachers' email addresses. Is that,
It'll be there.
it's coming? Because I think that's something that's sorely missing since the beginning of the school year.
It's there.
It's there now? Okay, good.
So.
I hadn't checked it in a few
No,
weeks.
it should be there.
Okay.
We had it on our current. Took us a while to get them there, but we did.
Okay.
But that should be there already.
Okay.
Okay?
Any other questions? No?
That's
exciting.
Okay, thank you. That's really, yeah, I love the colors. The tigers are
And once
awesome,
we
of
get it
course.
live, we'll do another.
It's awesome.
Here it is.
Okay.
Go through it all.
Very good.
And thank you. Discussion review of bond status, Mr. Barrett?
Yes, as everyone knows, the voters of Tiverton approved. And this is a staff, this is for the district, but when you go to each school, you also have a school directory.
Oh, nice.
On the bond issue, as you know, it passed overwhelmingly by the voters, and we're very pleased by that. The committee now needs, I'm recommending the committee that we send a correspondence to the council after they get sworn in, asking to go before them to ask what their plans are to move forward, because one of our other items is that we need to go out to bid for a construction manager to oversee the project. In the meantime, the town, on the town side, is they have to start working on how to pay for everything. The structuring, how they want to pay it. They've got to borrow short-term, it's called bands.
Yeah.
Short-term borrowing until the project, until the second year, and then they'll have to bond it. But we really need the councils, they have to make the next step so we can get this moving. So now that the voters voted for it, I need your permission to send a letter to the council requesting to be on their agenda to speak to the matter.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? And I'd like to thank the Raise the Roof Committee.
I was just going to say before we move
Unbelievable.
on.
We have to thank the Raise the Roof Committee. They were incredible.
I mean, it was a powerful group.
Really.
Kelly, Sue Zemek, who else was on it?
Who else?
Yep, wasn't Sarah? Sarah helped out.
Sarah.
Yep.
Oh, I said you at the beginning. How could I forget you, Kelly?
Terrific.
You're right there.
Terrific logo, too. I love that.
Yes, and they did a
Very
wonderful
nice.
job of being where all our, our supporters would be, and did a great job, and they played a major role in helping us get there.
Certainly did. Thank you.
Thank you
So
very
we were
much, really.
When we first realized how much we were asking for, it was, we can do this, and thankfully we got it done. So thank you, Kelly, and everybody.
And the support of the community was
Yeah,
amazing.
Obviously,
Yes.
everybody that
Yes.
voted for it.
I think we have to recognize.
Amazing.
that
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
the
community
taxpayers.
The taxpayers, we have to thank them
demonstrated
again.
a lot of support
It
for
was
us and the school.
really.
And for
really-
themselves, for the community.
Yeah, it was a vote of confidence and believe in us to, not only do we need it, but that we would be able to do the job right.
Well, when we explained the thoughtful process and how long it took, the years, and, going to the budget committee, the council, and all working together, the community appreciated that. We didn't just go, we need a roof and boiler, And then when you say it's 50 years, and what about your house? It was practical, just down practical, no big story of it's just like, do you have a new roof or boiler? And I stood out there from 6:30 to 8 at night and said, look. They said, okay. Just have to, the custodians, everybody does such a great job holding these places together, and it's very exciting. Okay, thank you for that. And now,
We had a boiler
did we-
leak during open house at the middle school.
yeah, that's right.
Invaluable. Perfect time.
And buckets running around for the water.
Visual was very,
That's
Mr.
right.
Odell gave the tours of the boiler.
Mr. Odell was fabulous. Thank you very much. Okay, so do we have that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Now the permission to go for construction manager for the middle and high school?
This is a project that's beyond our scope, and we will be getting a RFP or an outline
Description of the.
from
services
RGB Architects, what kind of services we're looking for. So I'm looking for permission to go out to bid so we can get a construction manager, either an architectural firm or a construction company who's qualified to oversee the project for us.
So moved.
All those in favor? Discussion of the strategic plan update, Mrs. Donnelly Roach?
Can I actually just back
Oh,
to that last
okay.
item? At some point, do we appoint a building committee of some sort from the community?
I was going to do that at the next meeting.
Okay.
I was going to recommend that we ask the Raise the Roof people and you will need, the short answer is yes, you'll need a committee to
Yeah.
oversee the renovation.
Okay.
I also have one question. Will Mr. Fiore be putting together a consolidated budget for the entire project, or
We already have one.
you already have one?
And it's really the entire capital program, and then once the committee determines what the scope of the bond will cover, we'll be able to figure out exactly what fits under the $15 million bond.
Okay.
oh, so it's the facilities plan that we had approved back,
Right.
I don't know,
Yeah.
months ago, and submitted it to RIDE,
Yes.
and then,
We
okay.
need to determine what's going to fit under the $15 million.
Because we put everything in the facilities report into the 5-year plan. But what Diane asked about is we're going to be just taking
That
15
piece out.
million
This
of it
job.
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
and then that's what.
So you'll show us
Yes.
eventually
Yeah.
what,
Oh, exactly.
Oh, absolutely.
Roofs and boilers and
You know,
everything
Yeah.
else that
Okay.
we've been.
And the construction manager will work with us, whoever the firm is, in developing that timeline and also explanations of what will be done and when.
And their costs will also come out of that 15?
Yes, that's all been accounted for in our proposal.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that's something you'll take under
Yeah.
consideration when we make a recommendation as to who will do the work.
Okay, anything else with that one? Okay, now, Mrs. Donnelly Roach, strategic plan?
Yeah, I just, before Amy begins, I just wanted to have Amy give a brief update to our new members as to where we are, and also to our current members, city members, as to where we are with our strategic plan.
Thank you, yeah, and it won't be long, as you referenced with the facility study. There's a lot of work that goes in and lots of details behind each of the just summary points. So just a brief update. And we are 18 months into this plan. The plan was developed with a standing committee of 18 people, and it's facilitated from the Rhode Island Department of Education, and it has 5 focus areas: communications, curriculum, facilities, professional development, and technology. I believe that you have the plan there in front of you, so we'll just briefly go through each area. In terms of communications, as you have heard already from Ms. Delcourt, we have been full steam ahead on this focus area, and we have moved ahead with each of the items. The committee worked very hard over the course of last winter and fall. The policy was adopted by the committee, and we now have communications lead in place and a plan in place which really has specific action items. Having the social media platforms up is one aspect. The web page is there, and as those of you who know from being on the communications plan that has been adopted by the committee, we will be soon looking for feedback from the community and be doing that annually throughout the course of this 5-year period. The next area.
That's crazy.
Whoa.
That's spinning.
It's curriculum. The strategic plan committee asked the district to develop a cycle of review for each of the content areas that are taught, and priority-wise, we are focusing on science right now. Over the next starting in January for the next 18 months, soon to be followed by math. Those two content areas, really as charged by the school committee, will overlap, and we will rewrite and revise curriculum K through 12 in those areas. At this point, direction of Mr. Weird will be that the third item for C coming to fruition will be English language arts, which is obviously composed of many aspects of development of literacy, and then reading for information and writing, so it's a broad area, but we'll be focusing on and continuing to focus on science and math. Full-day kindergarten was in that plan, and obviously we're in year 2 of that, which is very exciting. Our kindergarten teachers are going through rigorous training right now, and realigning expectations, making sure we have a nice balance between Common Core expectations and developmentally appropriate habits and practices for our youngest learners. And we have a big focus on the STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. We've talked about that a lot in this forum, so you can see lots of bullets there. But again, these are just summary bullets. There's a lot of work being done across the district in that regard. And the fourth action item was regarding response to intervention, which is a system of making sure that each of our students are supported in any areas. And we have RTI coordinators at each school. They worked this past summer and are continuing to work to address that action item as charged by the strategic plan. Facilities, we've talked about a little bit. Very exciting. And we're also hitting targets there. And since that was already addressed, I think we can move to the next area. Professional development. And this year we have 2 professional development days. And next year, as the notes there show, we will have 3 professional development days. It's already been codified in our NEA contract, again, per the strategic plan. This year's fall professional development day was a conference. We had teachers presenting to their colleagues in a very formal and hands-on way. It was new for Tiverton and very well received. We had keynote speaker and then breakout sessions, which people were able to choose online in advance, and we had the best reviews of teachers in terms of feedback and application for their classrooms. And the committee that is charged with that work will be convening soon to look toward our February professional development. A lot of our professional development is now ongoing and repeated, which is the best practice, so we know that it's focused and job embedded. It's the jargon for it, but it's something that teachers will talk about something and not just observe and then go home or wish they could have implemented it, but come back to the table with follow-up and opportunities for coaching and support. So right now, that's going on with science at our middle school, it's going on with mathematics here in high school, it's going on in kindergarten, as I referenced earlier. And we're moving ahead in that area as well. Finally, technology. Many of these action areas, focus areas overlap. So we've been focused on technology. That was the focus of the professional development day we had this fall. We have lots of materials, as again, the committee has been updated. Laptops, Chromebooks, Google Classroom. We have new labs both at the high school and the middle school, and a newly adopted technology plan. So lots of action, and believe that we're moving forward in all 5 areas rather cohesively to really make sure that our students and our teachers are well supported. I'm happy to address any questions.
Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Where are we?
5E.
Submit application for, the science grant. Yes, that looks very exciting, Amy. Salve in California?
We don't get to go to California, not quite.
No, I don't want to go. Thank you. I'm fine right here.
So what is it?
So, wanted to inform the committee that with Mr. Lyric's okay and support and input from our partners at Virginia University and the University of California at Berkeley, we have responded to a request for proposal. I learned a ton just having the opportunity to write the grant with UC Berkeley in Google Drive. So it was interesting. So it's a very large proposal for a state grant, and again, we just made a request. We'll see if we're lucky enough to receive the grant. Would we be that lucky, it would provide 10 days or more in professional development for each of our second, third, and fourth grade teachers from faculty at UC Berkeley who come here. And it would be all aligned with those next generation science standards that our teachers are working hard to incorporate. And it's a long shot because it's a big opportunity, but I think that Tiverton has always been held in high regard by the state in terms of our adherence to those new standards and all the opportunities we do afford our kids. So we did submit a proposal, 33-page proposal for $460,000 in partnership with Salve and UC Berkeley.
So we need permission to submit it.
Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
A second? Any questions on that one? Thank you very much. That's very exciting. All those in favor? Very good. Thank you. The budget, oh God, no.
Already?
Speak freely.
It's that time of year. Welcome, new
We were having so much fun.
Welcome to school committee members.
It's not all glory.
Oh, goodness gracious. I think we have a super duper line item to one this time, Mr. Fiore, because they're going to be
I put
looking.
this on here just as a reminder to the committee that if you have anything that you would like us to include in our budget, I'll be asking at our next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, the principals are, several have already, they have until November 30th, several have already turned in their budgets. And once I get their budgets, and I get the tech budget, I'll be meeting with the principals and Mr. Booth, go over their proposals. Then, that's really the easy part, because then we have to meet with Doug. And, that's where a lot of great ideas sometimes, we can't move forward because the money's not there, but, we certainly.
But they all get a chance to
But,
submit,
absolutely,
you know.
and we vet everything, we go back and forth, and, so, we don't know yet. We know where some of our constant costs are, salaries and everything's all been accounted for, but, as far as other costs, special ed, things of that nature, we're not quite sure where we are yet.
I can give a couple of updates on the big ticket items, just to brief the committee. It's usually, we have three large items each year that we need to be concerned about when we're putting together the budget. The first one is usually out-of-district special ed costs, because they're variable from year to year pretty significantly sometimes. And we've been very fortunate over the last couple of years that the out-of-district tuition number has gone down significantly, and that's enabled us to have a lot of flexibility with putting a lot of money into reserves and capital projects. Unfortunately, we've kind of turned the corner, and the out-of-district sped number has gone up about 200,000 from where it was a year ago. And that's unfortunately the number we used for this year's budget, and we're going to have to start that as our projection for next year. So we're going to have a little more pressure there than we've had in the past putting together the budget. A second concern is health insurance. We don't have any numbers yet from our carrier, but our claims have been running high, and ultimately that's going to result in higher premiums. So we're probably going to see a little higher premium adjustment than we have over the past few years. We've been very fortunate. We've had a couple of years where it's been level, and even 1 year it decreased. And the final number, which I don't have a lot of information on, is the pension number. Once you get that number from the state pension board, you're locked in, but it's not very predictable. It's based on their actuaries, and we have no visibility to that.
And part of the discussions when I meet with the principals, we look at their staffing levels for this year. We look at enrollments, and depending on what we look at for data, like for example last year, I recommended laying off, I believe 5.5 teachers, because we consolidated classes primarily at the high school. So we'll be doing that again as well, and depending on what we see, will be included in the budget proposal.
But if that doesn't work out, we might need some assistance in those classrooms for those students, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we find out it's not
Yeah,
working
if-
out.
If there's issues where that we need
You
to
know.
address, we certainly will account for it in the budget.
Mhm.
Again, we have 2 meetings in January. We have our budget workshop, usually the first Tuesday of the month, the first Tuesday after New Year's Day. That's a workshop, and then because of the town charter, the following week, we have to vote on a provisional budget because we have to get it into the town by the 15th of January, so, and then we work on it after that, but we have to meet that provision of the charter to get a preliminary budget submitted, so, again, we're probably farther, we have to do this, I can say it every year, but it's true, we have to do this much sooner than a lot of other districts, so, and it's a little harder because we still, as Doug pointed out, we still have a lot of unknowns.
Can we get those ride reports that we had before that broke it out, what we pay per pupil by,
Yes, we'll provide them to you.
you know, it had guidance, it had math, it had, and then we had that, we had the state, and then I think we had other similar sized
What we'll try to do is
districts.
we'll try to get you the UCOA
You,
before.
Yeah.
uniform chart of
December.
accounts, yeah.
So if you have questions or whatever at that December meeting, you know, we can get you feedback.
Yeah, because it's just a nice way to see what we're spending per subject versus other
Mhm.
districts and the state.
Yeah, we can provide it.
We'll have a nice little binder, Mr. Fiore.
I'm glad you mentioned the state. On the revenue side, we had very preliminary numbers come out from the state regarding our state aid. I think we're in the last year of the phase-in of the funding formula.
10 years.
And we, just at a very high level, it looked like our aid was increasing about $250,000, which is kind of wiped out by when I look at the sped number, for example. So it's going to be a little more challenging than we've seen in the past few years. Additionally, we're scheduled for some high sped cost reimbursement, which was about $78,000 on the report I had seen. So that's good news that some of those funds are coming back to us. And I'm actually working on next year's reimbursement for that by accumulating a lot of sped information that they're required to report to be eligible for that reimbursement.
And our out-of-district tuitions will show us an increase because we have more students attending the Career Center. And most of them are full-time students.
Yeah. Okay, does
We'll
anyone,
have that all for you.
any more questions on the budget? Diane? Mhm.
Not for this evening. Looking forward to getting some information and starting the talks in earnest.
Elaine? Okay. Discussion, we did that about Rogers. Now we'll do the high school music trip.
Yes, I'm asking, requesting the committee approve Mr. Snizek's band trip to Williamsburg, Virginia Beach, Virginia, from April 27th to April 30th.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor? Okay, good. Now we'll have the calendar.
Yep, the last item is approval of the calendar for the next year.
So do we want to stay at 6:30 and do we want to stay at Tuesdays?
It's up to you guys.
Any thoughts?
It's just a draft, so.
How is that for you? Because sometimes it isn't convenient.
I was
As a
just
new
gonna
member.
say,
You want to go back to 7?
7, I mean, personally, yeah, 7 worked out better for me, frankly.
And truthfully, there may be at 6:30 times where I'll be running in as you're saying the pledge.
So go
We'll
to
go to
7.
7
And
then.
Tuesdays, everybody thinks Tuesdays are fine?
Tuesday's good, yeah. Is that good?
Okay.
Okay.
Just if you can make a motion to,
Make a motion to accept the calendar as revised, that we will meet at 7 PM instead of 6:30.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor? Okay. And then we have our quarterly report.
what am I doing?
Should we emphasize the December dates because we started January?
Yeah, we only have one meeting next month, and that's this, the 13th,
Okay.
just for planning purposes.
December 13th.
And then, Mr. Fiore, you have your quarterly report in there
Yes,
from,
actually, I have a couple comments on this. The next report under correspondence, well, actually it's under reports and announcements, is the quarterly report. I submit our quarterly data to the town treasurer, who then combines it on this report, and it goes to municipal affairs. Well, municipal affairs is going through a significant change and they're sort of implementing their own uniform chart of accounts reporting on the municipal side. So rather than take the numbers that we already put in that format, we have to change things a little for them. So we have another set of numbers that we need to now submit to the town treasurer, who in turn will submit on our behalf. So I think at the end of this fiscal year, we'll see a much different looking report. And as a plus, folks will be able to go into the municipal affairs website and be able to electronically see the data that we already have on the education side.
Oh, good.
So that's coming. We're working with our software vendor to get reports in the format that they've specified. I don't anticipate any problems doing it. It's just, it'll be a different way of reporting than we're used to.
Okay, and that's good, it's available to anyone that wants to see it.
And ours is already.
It already is, yeah. Anybody else have any announcements, reports? No?
We just
Principals?
finished parent-teacher conferences. We had them Monday and again this afternoon.
Kelly?
We, Mr. Rarick and I, gave, we forgot one person from the Raise the Roof Committee, so if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to read all of our names from the
Good,
Raise the
that's
Roof Committee
wonderful.
in
Yes.
alphabetical order. Sarah Farley, Laura Garrity, myself, Kelly Levesque, Jim and Madeline Odell, and Sue Zimick.
Thank you very much. Okay, anyone else? Nothing?
I just have a few things I'd like to see on next week's agenda, so this would probably be a good time to, Bill, if we could have, if she's available, Sarah from the region come and give us sort of
Yep.
an overview, especially for, the new members, but an overview again of what the region does and where they are. I had spoke to you about another matter that you had already done. I am wondering too, is there any way, and Steve, is there any way, and maybe we can look at this next, get some recommendations? I know it's really hard for people to hear us. I don't know if there's a way to tape and have it so that people can hear us. If someone could work with someone to figure that out.
I don't want to violate the agenda.
No, and we can put that on the next agenda.
Yeah.
That was my question.
Yes.
Please.
Because we have to. Yes.
That was my agenda request. Can we get a better way to communicate with the
Yes.
people in this room?
Yes.
Thank you. That was my agenda request.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any?
No.
No. Elaine?
Nothing, thank you.
Okay, then.
Oh,
Motion.
the other subcommittee item, I'm sorry.
Oh,
We had
okay.
mentioned it before, and I just want to make sure that we're all in agreement, that we had mentioned, I think Sally had asked us to look at adding an item at the beginning of the night, just an open
Open forum?
forum. And that, so the subcommittee
That's
should
for the
look at that as well.
subcommittee, Yeah. And the other thing was the signs around
Yes.
the signs around the
Yes. Oh,
fields.
that's right. Okay,
That
so we
was-
have three things.
Yeah. Yeah, for money. Sponsors.
Oh.
We need money.
So advertising,
So this is going to the policy subcommittee, you mean?
Yes, it's look about the signs, so we don't have bad signs there, you know.
homeschool,
Bad signs?
Yeah,
Do they pay more?
you know what I mean.
out of
Inappropriate.
district, and open forum. Okay, got it.
Okay, thank you. You have all those?
Yep, got it.
Okay,
We need a
do
policy.
do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.